On Facebook, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, we are? Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's a black screen with your text on it. I'm sorry. You gotta get in here, Rick. You didn't give me enough.
I have a problem with this mic over here.
No.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay, so
Gotcha.
my understanding of those mics is you got them ass backwards.
What's that?
So they have them turned up like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Go ahead,
All right.
go for it.
Sounds good.
Just turn your power on. You can use that for your phone somewhere. All right, stand by. 58.
It is live on the WFOV Facebook page.
It is live. Yes.
Let me go find it.
Yeah, find it, please. Because I'm going to go back and do the same thing. Stand by. You're a minute 15 seconds out. Minute and 15 seconds out.
So we turn this computer off and turn the mics on. Got it, got it, got it.
Yeah, did I turn this on? This is hopefully going to be your Facebook. Stand by. We're 20 seconds. 20 seconds.
I don't see it, Paul.
Okay, I'll have to work it. Figure out what the hell's going on. FOV, I'm looking for it myself. Stand by in 30 seconds. Should be right there. In 20 seconds. Why isn't it there? Alright, let me figure out what's going on. It's not here either. And in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. You're going to set your mics. 2, 1. You're live.
Good evening. Good evening. It's now 5 p.m. on this lovely Friday evening. Hey there, Vic. How's it going today?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Good. We want to welcome everybody to Whose Opinion Is It Anyway? With Candice.
And Victor.
We've got a pretty good topic this evening. We want to
Yes,
give everybody a chance to get tuned in. We're here live from 5 to 6 p.m. right here, WFOV 92.1 FM. Vic, I don't know if you've had an opportunity to check out Time magazine this week, but they announced their Person of the Year.
Yes, yes.
And it appears they have chosen the Silence Breakers as their Person of the Year. And for those of you who are not familiar with who they're calling the Silence Breakers, those would be the women who spoke up against various forms of sexual assault, not only in Hollywood, but across the political realm as well. And it's quite an empowering movement that they have women speaking up all over the nation about some of the violations that have occurred. And tonight I kind of wanted to delve into that a little bit. In Time magazine, they called it the open secret, meaning everyone knew about it. Everyone's always known about it, but no one says anything aloud.
Yeah, that's a great point. And to that, I was thinking about Bill Cosby, right? And I'll say this first. This is a harassment tsunami, the likes of which I have never seen. And the only time that I can think of that remotely reminds me of this current time period goes back to the early 90s when you had the Anita Hill, Clarence Thomas situation. And I remember regarding that time period when the investigation had ensued, people were walking around in the workplace on eggshells. I mean, they really were. They were wondering, okay, what can I say, what can I not say, and what can I do, what can I not do, and so forth. And so I think this is much bigger. I think this is much bigger than that situation, because to your point, Candice, when Bill Cosby, when allegations were being leveled against Bill Cosby going back a couple of years, I was thinking to myself, okay, now we all know, in keeping with this open secret, that Hollywood has the casting couch. Now, I'm saying to myself, I said to myself back at that time period, if they're calling Bill Cosby out on the carpet, I'm waiting for the next shoe to drop. And it has dropped. It has dropped.
I think that the biggest hit there was Harvey Weinstein and all
Yes.
the allegations against him. I
Yes.
think that's what sparked the huge
Absolutely.
effect of all these
Absolutely.
other women coming forward. And
Absolutely.
even still, we have the allegations that are lodged against the President of the United States. You have the allegations that are lodged against several top politicians. And I guess one of the biggest things, because again, they refer to it as the open secret. And we want to welcome everybody that's with us on Facebook.
Yes.
We want to welcome everyone that's with us on YouTube, as well as those listening, once again, 92.1 FM Live. You can give us a call, 810-259-9789, 810-259-9789. Feel free to comment on Facebook. We'll gladly chat with you. But one of the things I wanted to look at, because again, it's called the open secret.
Yes.
Meaning everyone knows, but no one says anything. And we can go a step further from Hollywood, or should I say a step closer, and bring it to the fact that this quote-unquote open secret happens everywhere, in every aspect of life. You have it, it happens in the church. It happens in our homes, in our families. You know, we've all heard, don't sit on Uncle So-and-so's lap, or, you know, we've all heard these things.
Yes.
And so I guess my first question is, why do we protect predators? Why is it an open secret? Why isn't it just an open fact, an open truth? Why do we protect predators?
Could it be that we live in a culture that is anti-woman? Could it be, do we live in a rape culture? Essentially, is the question. Do we?
We do.
And the reason why I ask that is because I'm thinking of an expose that was done on this topic with regard to the objectification of women in the advertising industry. And there was a lady, I believe her name was Jean Hillborn or Clybourne. And back in the late 70s, she put together this expose that dealt with the mistreatment and the objectification of women in the advertising arena. And of course, that arena doesn't operate within a vacuum. That arena operates within a social, political, economic context. So to be honest with you, although specifically she was making reference to the advertising industry, the advertising industry really is a part of American culture. So she was dealing with this objectification of women, and it was very telling. And I think that really speaks to the issues here regarding this topic. What do you think? What do you think about that? What do you think?
I think that just kind of going back to your point of we live in a rape culture society.
Those are some harsh words. They're very harsh words.
They're the truth, though. I don't think that it's harsh, and especially coming from the standpoint of being a woman and understanding that you often run into people who do not recognize that there are boundaries. I feel like there are times when men feel as though they're entitled to your body, to your space, to your time. And when they do not get those things that they feel they're entitled to, they then become violent. And so, and then not only that, but sometimes things are passed off as a joke that may make you feel uncomfortable. I think that there is an insensitivity toward women.
Oh, absolutely. No question about that. So, Candice, I think that speaks to the fact that we live in a patriarchal society. A male-dominated society. Let's be clear here, a white male-dominated society. However, I'm not saying that to say that only white men are guilty of patriarchal practices. You have all men from every walk of life, every racial group, every ethnic group, every cultural group that partake in patriarchy. But the question is, why? Why?
Why?
Yeah,
I think because it's been so...
Why do many men have issues with women from that standpoint? Why is that? Why is that?
Aren't you a man, Vic?
No, I'm trying to... Look, we're posing the question, right? We're posing the question.
What's the question? One more time. What's the question?
Why do men embrace this practice? The practice of patriarchy. Why do we do it?
I think, one, because it's so widely accepted. And I think, two, because it's the thing that's been done from the beginning.
Okay.
That it's been, men are in charge, men make the money, men make the decisions, men... you got to think about the fact that we had to fight to vote. We had to fight to be able to even work. Then now that we work, we're trying to fight to even get equal wages. And so I think that you have a lot of men who are of the mindset that this is their world. We live in it, and they're entitled to us as property in their world.
Now that's a great point there. Property. So in other words, then we're viewing women as objects.
Yes.
Could we say objects of scorn, even objects of ridicule? And if we treat a woman as an object, then if we don't value that object, we obviously mistreat that object, correct?
Mm-hmm.
My
Right.
goodness. But that's a very interesting choice of words, because now we've extracted the humanity from the woman, and we've turned her into an object, a thing, a possession, as you say, right?
Mm-hmm.
A piece of property. So what do we do with property?
You discard it or you use it as you want.
Oh my goodness.
No, that's just reality. And I think that, again, is how we have a society that is okay with rape culture, because they're so used to using and discarding women however you feel.
Wow.
And there are no regards to their feelings, because as far as they've been taught, and even women, that we are subjected to men, and that we are to be willing and at their feet and whatever makes them happy, and we are to shy away from our own desires, our own expectations, that we are to cater to you first, kids second, us last, everything else above us. And so it becomes hard to have a voice when that is the kind of world that you live in. And so these women coming forth and saying what these men who obviously are in power have done to them, that is a very big thing.
Absolutely.
Because when you speak out, you place yourself in danger of retaliation, being blackballed, being fired, being re-victimized, meaning they bring up any and every aspect of your sexual past, whether it is true or not. You place yourself in a field to be questioned. It's almost like it's like being black in the sense of the guilt until proven innocent. So with a woman, it's you're lying until you prove that you're not. When it comes to sexual allegations, especially against powerful men.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
And so
no doubt.
we began to get asked all these different questions of if you report it anonymously, because obviously it is a very shocking and devastating thing to be violated. And so if you choose to report it anonymously, they'll say you're not credible because this is anonymous. And if it's true, why are you hiding? Or if it's really something that happened, or how do we know it's not some other source trying to bring this man down? So this was anonymous, so we can't take it seriously.
Yes.
If you try and report it publicly, then they'll just say that you just wanted attention or you wanted fame. If the man is of some sort of higher stature. If you report it years later because you finally built up the courage to speak out for yourself, they'll say, well, why did you wait so long? And it's like, I waited so long because I feared I would lose my job if it was my boss, or I feared I would lose my family if it was a family member. I think that so many times we're placed in situations to be re-victimized. And then it's like, if you report it immediately, like right when it happens, then the questions, you are automatically subject to interrogation, because then it becomes, well, what did you have on? Well, where were you? What time of day was it? What was the environment? What were you doing? Were you enticing him? It becomes all of these different things that make you just kind of shrink in yourself and be quiet, because again, you are automatically put on the stand and treated as though you are not being truthful the minute you come forward with these allegations.
So now, in keeping with that statement, then, as we turn our gaze to culture, right, we can say that culture is the agreed upon norms, beliefs, values, and practices of a given group or a given society. But that tells me that multiple people have to embrace this view in order for culture to exist. Would you agree, or do you disagree?
I absolutely agree.
So then why do men and women buy into and embrace rape culture? Why do we buy into rape culture? Because, and the reason why I pose this question, and I think you probably answered a portion of this question, is this. When we think about Hollywood, right, and Hollywood has the casting couch, and that has been one of the great open secrets pertaining to Hollywood. How is it that they have been able to get away with that practice for so many years? How is it? How is it?
I think they've been able to get away with it for all of the many reasons that we've outlined, that it has been a concern. One, it's you want, okay, so let's start with at the very top of this thing. And the fact that it's just considered a societal norm and women are looked at as property.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've not gotten over the old school thought process of women are property.
Yes.
And so that's the first reason that people stay silent. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's just a woman, whatever. The second thing is there's still a boys' club. Let's
Mm-hmm.
be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And in that boys' club, they are going to make sure that they protect their friend. Even if they may not
yes.
agree with what their friend is doing. How many times have you had a story
Mm-hmm.
where there was someone who could have stopped someone from being raped, or
Yes.
someone who could have stopped someone from being assaulted in whatever manner,
Mm-hmm.
and they just stood by and did nothing because they didn't want to turn on or betray their friend.
Mm-hmm.
And then also you have these women who feel like I'm either not going to be believed to begin with,
Okay.
or I have some things in my past that although they have absolutely nothing to do with what you have done to me, other people will still bring it up.
Yes.
And so why
Yes.
should I ruin my life?
Okay.
And why don't I should just accept this job and hurry up and get away from this creepy person
Yes.
as fast as possible?
Yes. So now let's slow this pace down a little bit, and let's unpack this to try to understand the psychological aspects of this kind of culture.
Right, boys will be boys.
Okay. So let's understand that, right? And I'm not, trust me, folks, I am not trying to put anybody on the spot. I'm not trying to blame the victim. I'm trying to understand the victim and the victimizer, right?
Mm-hmm.
How has it, Candice, that Hollywood has been able to keep this secret under wraps? I mean, I get the fact that you have powerful men who have influence, they have means, they have resources and whatnot. But what else is it? What else is it? Because people have to agree to be a participant in that kind of system in order for that system to continue to thrive. What do you think? This has been going on for quite some time, and I'm not trying to switch here, but I'm just trying to make a point here. Even Terry Crews, who was a former professional football player, was subjected to an aspect of this when he went to a gala recently with his wife, and a high-powered, powerful Hollywood executive stepped up to him and reached out and grabbed his genitals in front of his wife. Right? Mm-hmm. And he was stunned, to say the least. He was stunned by what this guy was doing and so forth. And the guy did it again, Candice, in front of his wife.
Right.
And Terry Crews pushed the guy back, right? Left the party in shock. But then he had contacted the acting agency that he had been working with and so forth, and he was trying to seek out legal means. Eventually, he did file a police report, and he put the guy on blast. So my point is this: it happens to men just as it happens to women. But I'm not trying to shift here. I want to keep the focus on women. But I'm just saying that you have some persons, even of his stature, who are being attacked as well.
I do think it's fair that we speak about the fact that it does happen to men and men do not tell. I think it's very fair that we have that conversation as well. But if we're going back to it could happen to anyone again, but that was part of Time Magazine's point with the article of the reason that it happened on such a large scale was because for the first time ever, you had women who were just as powerful, or had just as much of a voice, who could come forward and say it. And I think that another thing that makes it easy for all those other women who are coming out who have been assaulted or sexually harassed by men in power was the fact that you look at the ladies in Hollywood and they're glamorous and they're different and they're above average, and it's like, if this happened to them and they're brave and they're coming forward to talk about it, then we can be brave and we can come forward and we can talk about it. I think at the end of the day you still have that whole power thing, and that whole money thing, and he who has the power to do whatever, they usually tend to do whatever. I think you had the President of the United States was heard on a tape saying, he's saying it's not his voice, so we'll say allegedly, heard on a tape saying that when you have money or you have power, you can do whatever you want to people. You can grab them wherever you want.
Hey, look. And
I know he's not alone in that mindset. And I believe that he felt like he was in the presence of like figures when he said that.
Wait a minute now. Okay, now since we're posing the Socratic question here, and you're making reference to Donald Trump, how about, let me name a few names here. How about Okay, there have been other presidents who have allegedly done the same thing that
Absolutely.
one Donald Trump has done.
Absolutely.
And recently in the news, Daddy Bush.
In which
Daddy Bush, how old is he? About 90, about 95
he is.
years of age.
He is.
And
I think
he
the
was
difference-
groping. He was groping women.
Absolutely. I think the difference is, though, one copped to it and the other said, psh, wasn't me. Even though you have all these people coming forward.
In other words, Daddy Bush, he said, I'm guilty. Guilty as charged.
He said my bad. I don't know if he claimed
My
guilt.
bad. He said my bad. He said my
He
bad.
didn't use the words my bad. I'm paraphrasing.
Wait a minute. Now, I got to also name this other guy, because the conservatives who listen are saying, wait a minute, they're not saying anything about the former President Bill Clinton. I'm just saying,
What do you mean
this is
they're not
public
saying
knowledge.
anything? They've never stopped saying
this
his
is
name
public
since what
knowledge.
happened to him.
I mean, well, it ebbs and flows with him. It ebbs and flows. It ebbs and flows and whatnot. And he's still out in the public square doing his thing. I'm just saying. I'm just raising the point. That's all. I'm just raising the
But
point.
I think that goes back to the original point of the fact that we live in rape culture society. We just do. And the fact that even though there are certain things that certain people will be allowed to come back from, that they will be allowed to live to fight another day, if you will, from it. And and again, that is why it is so important that we are busting out this open secret. Because now we can say it is not okay that you are a predator. It is not okay that you do these things. But I do want to go back to the fact that why do we protect predators? And I think you made a good point of saying these people still get to do what they do. So why are we dismissive of their behavior?
That's a great question. Let me name some names. Let me name some names, Candice, folks. Candice doesn't want me to name the names.
That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Candice doesn't want you to go to jail.
Wait a minute.
Candice doesn't want you sued.
Wait a minute. But we can see these allegations. These are allegations.
There you go. Okay.
These are
Candice
is making me put on my journalism hat.
There you go.
These are allegations. It is alleged that the following persons have taken part in allegedly harassing women and so forth, right? John Conyers, Al Franken, Roy Moore, Russell Simmons, even hip-hop. Even hip-hop.
You say even hip-hop as if hip-hop doesn't make songs about assaulting women. That's not shocking.
Yeah. True. Well, true.
That's not shocking.
That's true. But how the mighty have fallen. Because Russell Simmons, he stepped down from his position at Def Jam. This was this week, right? John Conyers stepped down from his position